The horror has already driven Koji half mad. Just imagining the appearance of the creature attacking him is enough to threaten his sanity. His scream is suddenly cut off as a slimy appendage seizes his throat. This most deadly tentacle isn't just cutting off his breathing and circulation. It's trying to snap his neck, and it's squeezing tighter and tighter.
Going to die.
Just as that final thought enters his fading consciousness, a sudden explosion brings him back to his senses. With a horrifying, inhuman scream, the creature releases Koji and retracts its tentacles. The first thing he sees after regaining his mobility is Ryoko running down the hall with a smoking shotgun in her hand.
Doctor!
Ryoko responds by tossing a silver tube in her other hand to Koji, who's still lying on the floor. It's the thermos she showed him at the restaurant, the one that she called her secret weapon.
Pour it on that thing!
Ryoko shouts to Koji. At the same time, she aims her gun at Fuminori, who's still on his knees about 5 paces away. The double-barreled, sawed-off hunting shotgun still has one shot loaded. The monster that attacked Koji is writhing in agony, apparently still recovering from Ryoko's shot. He's already seen, however, that bullets aren't enough to kill these creatures. Now is his only chance.
You! What are you doing?
Gritting his teeth against the pain of his broken ribs, Fuminori glares at Koji and Ryoko. Forcing himself to be calm, Koji stands and carefully unscrews the lid of the thermos. There's no question in his mind that something extremely potent is inside. As soon as it's unsealed, thick white mist pours out of the thermos and the surrounding air suddenly becomes freezing cold.
This is...
Guessing what's inside, Koji ruthlessly throws the thermos at the pile of flesh convulsing on the floor. The thermos sails through the air, spewing white fog like a smoke grenade, its liquid contents spraying the creature crawling on the floor like a baptismal font. Its scream this time is literally a death cry, incomparable to before. Wreathed in white smoke, the monster thrashes in agony. Its screams are joined by Ryoko's cackling.
How do you like that? Minus 197 degrees! Is it cold? Hot? Not so tough now, are you?
Ryoko, perhaps the joy of defeating her nightmare was worth sacrificing her sanity. The expression on her face as she laughs maniacally is clearly that of someone no longer in their right mind.
Damn you! I'll kill you!
Fuminori staggers to his feet, roaring black curses. His rage seems to have drowned out the pain of his broken bones. Ryoko is not one to underestimate the threat posed by his axe. Her mad laughter fades away, leaving behind a cold smile as she pulls the trigger. With a short burst of dark flame, Ryoko's gun sputters and dies. Ryoko's not an expert on firearms. She never knew that shotgun shells need to be properly stored. In any case, she always expected that any situation where his gun would be necessary would also be one that she would not survive. Cursing in anger and dismay, Ryoko breaks the shotgun open and awkwardly pulls the dud out.
Damn it.
Meanwhile, Fuminori stalks towards Ryoko like a vengeful demon, dragging the head of his axe along the floor.
This is bad.
Koji tries to charge at Fuminori, but only succeeds at sending himself sprawling again. One of his shoes is stuck to the floor, rendering him immobile. He realizes that the liquid nitrogen he poured on Saya has also frozen the floor around him. As Ryoko fumbles in her pocket for a new shell, Fuminori closes the distance and raises his axe in both hands.
Damn!
Koji curses and rips his shoe free of the frozen concrete, but he won't be able to make it to them on time. Ryoko thrusts the new shell into the chamber of her shotgun and snaps it closed, then looks up to find her target. Fuminori is right before her, too close to evade, and his axe is already crushing down upon her with the wind howling in its wake.
Stop!
The sounds of bone shattering, tendons snapping, and flesh tearing blend together in foul harmony. The thick blade has entered through Ryoko's left shoulder, plowing through her collarbone and shoulder blade, smashing several ribs and popping her lung like a balloon before stopping in the center of her chest. Her expression frozen in shock by the impact, Ryoko sprays a geyser of blood from her mouth. She should have died instantly, but through some unimaginable force of will, Ryoko clings to life for a few seconds more. Grinning through her blood-stained lips, she raises her shotgun. Not to the front, but to the side. Beyond the barrel of her gun, half of its body wearing the 77-degree Kelvin mist like a white cloak of death, is the wriggling, weakly Saya.
No!
The 12-gauge shotgun drones out Fuminori's scream in a thunderous explosion of light and sound far more powerful than that of Koji's revolver. The destruction is absolute. The impact of the shotgun pellets completely blows away the part of Saya's body that fell prey to the liquid nitrogen. The frozen particles of Saya's shattered flesh drift to the floor like snow. Even Saya's special biology is insufficient to seal a wound of this size. Nearly half of her body is gone, and from the opening pour her innards, a tide of liquid, slime, and fat whose color is far too foul to belong to any living creature. The monster convulses, wailing in a weak, pitiful voice.
Saya.
With his axe still buried in Ryoko's body, Fuminori stares at the dying creature, his expression utterly devoid of emotion. Koji grabs his pipe and prepares to attack Fuminori from behind, but freezes when he sees the emptiness on the face of the man he's hated as a murderer. Fuminori pulls the Zack out of Ryoko's corpse, then looks at Koji with glazed eyes, as though he doesn't recognize who he is. When Koji meets Fuminori's blank stare, he knows. There is no longer anything left in Fuminori to kill. Fuminori grips the axe closer to its head and raises it high, the blade pointing at his face. Koji doesn't know whether or not he should interfere, but even if he wanted to, what could he say to stop Fuminori? Fuminori pulls his head back slowly but surely, then drives his face into the blade of the axe like a spring-loaded toy. His skull caves in with a dull, wet sound, and a spray of blood catches Koji in the face. Despite Fuminori's complete lack of hesitation, his first attempt at suicide only succeeds in transforming his face into a piece of crimson art. Fuminori pulls his head back one more time, even slower than before then. With every ounce of his strength left in his body, slams it into the blood-stained axe. The sound is wetter than before. Like a marionette with the strings cut, Fuminori tumbles face first into the floor. Koji stares at the two mangled corpses for a while, feeling completely left behind. Like he doesn't even know why he's standing in this place with a steel pipe in his hand. The stale air filling the ruined building becomes choked with the stench of blood, and the crimson puddles gradually spread across the snow-covered floor. Yet the tranquility of the scene makes it seem like a painting. A soft, slimy sound breaks the silence. Koji looks at the mortally wounded monster as though just remembering that it's there. The creature is clearly on death's door. Even so, it moves, slowly, feebly. It drags its broken body across the sea of blood covering the floor. It's coming for Fuminori. Koji had forgotten his anger, but now comes surging back at full force.
Die!
Koji growls and stabs the monster with the end of his steel pipe. It convulses in agony, but keeps crawling towards Fuminori. Koji explodes in a frenzy of rage.
Die! Just die already! Stay the hell away from Fuminori!
Again and again, he smashes the helpless flesh piece with his pipe. For some reason, he's convinced that if he doesn't stop it here, he will have truly lost. The monster, however, never succumbs to Koji's beating, and finally reaches Fuminori's corpse.
Don't touch him! Don't touch Fuminori! Damn you! Who the hell do you think you are?
On the verge of tears, Koji continues to swing his pipe furiously. The monster's slimy fluids fly through the air, joining with the blood already covering his face. The creature extends one thin, trembling tentacle to touch Fuminori's shoulder, then lovingly caresses his blood-stained cheek. And then it stops moving. Even in its final moments, the monster would not let go of Fuminori. It died joined with him. At last, Koji knows that he has lost everything forever.
Hey.
Omi says enthusiastically, the exposed bones of her face clattering.
Why don't we go somewhere with skating for this here ski trip?
Chunks of her body are missing, as though something's been nibbling on her. It makes her look a lot thinner. She's been worried about her weight recently, but now she shouldn't need to diet. Fuminori laughs at Omi's crazy suggestion.
That's right, you just started skating recently, didn't you?
He sounds amused, but it's hard to tell from his expression since his face has been cleaved in two by an axe.
I don't think there are many first-time skaters in their 20s these days.
I was kinda scared when I was little. Those shoes seemed like knives to me.
Yeah, I know. If someone kicked you in the face with those, you'd probably end up like me.
Omi and Yo laugh at Fuminori's dumb joke. Yo never used to laugh with such exuberance.
Fuminori.
Now that she and Fuminori are officially lovers, she seems truly happy.
But you were able to kill him on your first try? That's amazing, Omi-chan.
It's not very different from swinging a baseball bat after all. You swing hard and let the weight of the axe do the damage. That's what Fuminori said, so I took his word for it and gave killing him a try. And it was fun.
What is this strange feeling? Something is wrong, though Koji can't put his finger on exactly what.
I want to see Omi-chan being eaten too.
Ah, that's it. When he sees Yo's envious smile, Koji finally realizes what's wrong.
Hey, Tsukuba,
What's wrong, Koji-kun?
why are you the only one who's normal?
Yo tilts her head quizzically, like she doesn't understand what he means.
Normal? I'm always normal.
But back then, you were...
Oh, I get it.
Yo nods in understanding.
You were talking about when I looked different than you. That was such a long time ago.
Was?
Of course!
She replies, deflecting Koji's confusion with that uncannily cheerful smile.
After all, you're one of us now.
Oh, of course. Koji looks down and is satisfied to see wriggling tentacles where his arms and legs should be.
Ah!
When he opens his eyes, his pillow and mattress are soaked in sweat. It's always the same nightmare. He doesn't know how many times he's seen it, but at least he's not leaping out of bed screaming anymore. Clutching his throbbing head, Koji sits up in bed. It's 4 a.m. He hasn't had nearly enough rest, but he probably won't be able to get back to sleep tonight. Anyway, it's time for a smoke. A full pack will last him until dawn. Now, where did he put the pack he bought yesterday? Koji wanders sleepily into the den, where yet another old friend is waiting for him.
You look like hell. Seriously.
Oh, Doctor, you're here too.
Ryoko's chopped-up corpse is sitting on his dining table, looking as deathly pale as ever as she sips coffee from a mug.
You suffer every night, don't you? I bet you're not getting enough sleep.
It's not always like this.
Koji says amicably, as he sits down across from her.
If I take some medicine, it usually helps. For now.
Hallucinations like these are easier to deal with than elaborate nightmares like the one he just had. They should probably worry him more, though.
If you'd listened to my warnings back then, you wouldn't be in such bad shape now.
Let's stop talking about that. What's done is done.
Ryoko chuckles, smiling the same cruel, manic smile that she had used to when she was alive. Her left arm hangs from her half-severed shoulder, dangling like a forgotten wind chime.
I see. It looks like you've come to terms with it.
You were the same, weren't you? You managed to live as an elite neurosurgeon most of the time, after all.
If you're just keeping up a facade, it's not that hard.
The corpse shrugs her shoulders, her intact right shoulder, that is, and grimaces in disgust as she takes another sip of her coffee.
But it's probably only going to get worse, you know. Time heals emotional wounds, but with you, it's more like you've been poisoned.
She's probably right. Everyone dreams at night. No matter how dim the memories may get, the nightmares will always be there to tear into Koji with fresh fangs. The insanity that's taken root in his heart will grow, eventually consuming everything that's left inside of him.
In my case, I've had you to learn from. I'm ready for anything.
Oh, really?
Koji nods, smiling confidently, then stands and walks into the bathroom, where he retrieves the weapon that he keeps hidden behind the mirror. It's Ogai's revolver, the one souvenir that Koji brought back from the other world that night.
It was a lot of trouble, but I finally found someone who deals in these things. I bought bullets for it. Can you believe that ammunition is more expensive than the gun itself?
How about that?
In the mirror, Koji sees Ryoko with her axe-inflicted gash reversed. She raises her mug as though to toast Koji's resourcefulness.
So, how many shots did you buy?
Just one.
And this time, it's Koji who shrugs his shoulders. He uses both, exercising his privilege as a survivor.
You see, I never want to be in a situation where I'll need more.
Oh?
The corpse in the mirror nods, seeming strangely reserved.
You really do get it, Tono-kun.
There's a brief silence. Koji doesn't really feel like getting all melancholy with a corpse.
Hey doctor, let's give the diner coffee a rest. If you want, I'll put on a new pot of...
When Koji turns around, halfway through his sentence, he realizes that the dining room is empty, but for the silence of the night. And so, Koji finally returns to the world of the sane. He lights his first cigarette of the night and takes a deep drag. While sitting alone in his den, puffing on his smoke, he stares at the gun in his hand. He knows just how precarious a cliff he's standing on. The final line that Ryoko spoke of is now one step behind him. Having finally crossed that line, Koji no longer has anything to protect his soul. Know that Ogai Masahiko's delusions and Hanbei Ryoko's paranoia have all become tangible horrors. He knows what insanity and despair truly are. Even in the real world, Sakisake Fuminori is already wanted for several gruesome murders. It didn't take long for someone to discover the stockpiles of human meat in the empty Sakisake and Suzumi houses. In the two refrigerators were found the remains of Suzumi Yosuke, his wife and daughter, and Takahata Omi. They found the clothes and other effects of Tsukuba Yo, but were unable to locate any trace of her among the various body parts, a fact that made Koji's nightmares all the more vivid. Dr. Tanbei Ryoko of the T-University Hospital mysteriously vanished at the same time. Because she was Fuminori's chief physician, the police have been investigating her connection to his crimes. As for the two corpses secretly buried in the backyard of a certain ruin, well, they'll probably never be found, and this incident will just become another cold case. Koji alone knows what really happened, and he has no intention of revealing it. Not now, and not ever. Ogai's writings were not nonsense, which means that everything else was. What fool was it who said that men are the lords of creation? Those who believe in the worth of meaningless things like human wisdom and valor are those lucky people who have not looked into the abyss. Koji no longer has any common ground with those who are blessed with such ignorance and innocence. He knows. He has been defiled by the insanity called truth, and he will never be able to believe again. If he has been poisoned, then that poison is none other than the truth itself. Just as pure oxygen is harmful to the body, the naked truth has the power to destroy men's minds. Oxygen only becomes air when combined with 5 times as much nitrogen. Truth is the same. Only by diluting it with lies and taking it in small doses can humans maintain a healthy soul.
No matter how unimaginably insane the world might become,
Words once spoken by a living Tanbo Ryoko passed through Koji's mind.
I had some choice other than just running around screaming.
Without a doubt, that was the comfort that she kept hidden in her bosom, the one thing that allowed her to face her dreams each night. Koji has taken his predecessor's lessons to heart. Of course he's prepared. One bullet is always behind the bathroom mirror, promising him salvation.
Winter's flowers oh so brightly bloomed, all enveloped in the season running by. And the gust of razor wind and pain only brushed the tips of my averted eyes. And I'm changing red scarlet dye was the color that together we could see, yet I let it be taken and I let go of your hand, gazing upon the shards of this shattered love. But I still cannot leave you, although they are spilling away, and I try to gather broken dreams, but I still cannot leave you, although they are spilling away and are gone. Spring's flowers oh so brightly bloomed, all enveloped in the season, choking us. And a gust of tepid wind and warmth only brushed the tips of my averted eyes. And unchangingly sky blue dye was the color of the place that we have found, yet I let it be taken and I let go of your hand, so I just held the shards of this shattered love, but I cannot let you go, although they are spilling away, and I try to gather broken ties, as I still feel your embrace, although they are spilling away and are gone.
And so it comes to an end, the strange and sinful song of Saya. Not all stories have happy endings. Some are tales of suffering, with brief moments of bliss no matter what path you choose to take. Love brought Fuminori and Saya together, and though the world rotted around them, in it they found their peace.
Gazing upon the shards of this shattered love, but I still cannot leave you, although they are spilling away, and I try to gather broken dreams, but I still cannot leave you, although they are spilling away and are gone.
Yet that same passion and dedication to each other motivated the most egregious of crimes against the humanity they chose to reject. Which end would truly be kinder? To allow them their love by sacrificing the world? Or stopping them by force before the heinous truth was unleashed upon the earth? Or, perhaps, the kindest end of all could be to stop Fuminori from choosing love at all, and suffer alone, with none the wiser to what could have been.
Let's Start Project.